welcome to Creating Refuge. This is a place where we believe that big dreams can happen through small goals. Make it easy on yourself.
Yep.
We're very happy to have a guest today. I don't have my usual script, so we're just kind of welcoming you on in and hoping that in our space you find strategies, planning guides, real life insight from real people, and encouragement and accountability. We love those last two here at Creating Refuge. And welcome. Thank you for joining, Hassan. It's a little hard for me to be able to see the screen right now, but I'm so happy that we have Aisha with us today. And could you introduce yourself, your Substack, and one small goal you have for yourself or your Substack?
Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. Hello, Hassan, and thank you so much, Tabitha, for having me on today. I'm so excited, and it's really excited about today's topic. So, yay. So my name is Aisha, and I am the author of the My Sacred Bridge Grimoire, which is I wanted to build a book of magic. I believe in magic. I believe in the elements. I believe in, aligning our energy with with everything around us, the planets, the energies, just everything. And when I was in corporate, I was in corporate for 24 years or something horrible like that, in human resources. And so I was a human resources director, and I realized that we really run corporate as like a one size fits all, right? We have these SOPs and these procedures and everything. If you don't follow them, then you're out, and then there's just a lot of stress. But that's not necessarily how everybody works. So I really wanted to dive deep into, when I started this, I was like, I need to start something, taking my training from HR and really building something that can really tap into everybody's individual magic, which I call everybody's unicorn magic, right? Everybody has their individual strengths. So long story short, that's why I am the author of the My Sacred Bridge Grimoire. And my goal is to reach as many people, bless you,
Thank you.
reach
I
as
love
many
welcoming
people.
everybody.
I want to reach as many people as possible, especially women who are in business. I believe that we have been just overlooked for a very long time in terms of how we work and how we are really internally inside ourselves. We're empathy and all these different kinds of things. And again, it's not necessarily a one size fits all. So I just want to reach as many people as possible. It may sound a little bit vague, but that's really what it is in a nutshell, that we can all, start to really celebrate the magic within. So yes.
Yeah, and I think that just raises the vibe for the entire planet. And thank you. Thank you, Michael. Welcome, Michael, Curtis, and we got Trial Error, was it? Oh, and Omna Nextel. Hello, welcome. So yeah, after hearing it from both of us. If we are resonating with you, please be sure you are subscribing to both of us
Yes,
for
definitely.
all our good insights every week. Are you posting about every week these days, Aisha?
So depending on lives, I have a combination of lives and posting. So yes, there's something every week right now. And I'm
Sure.
doing notes like crazy. So I'm there every single day. I love DMs. I love answering questions and everything. So I'm there. I'm pretty much on it every single day.
Yeah, I found we've been interacting, so you guys know the background of us. We've been interacting since maybe my early days. I got here early April, and I feel like you've been a big part of, maybe after about a month in, you've been you've been kind of part of the roots. So I appreciate it so much. Um,
Yeah. And I appreciate you. Just appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. One thing I noticed that you do in your practice, and
Mhm.
especially you did a quiz recently about that unicorn magic you alluded to,
Yes.
that was about finding your element. So
Hmm.
today we want to explore working with the elements. How do the elements influence goal guidance, you feel?
Well, I believe that because we are here on the earth, here in my in my household, we are space obsessed. So, here on the earth, we have access to every single element. So that's air, earth, fire, and water. Right. And because we have access to this within, we as a collective energy, as who we are, as human beings, I believe that you can tap into those elements and tap into the magic within those elements to help you through work, through, setting up a business, through, being at your job, or, even just through life itself. Because I am more business focused, I talk about that more, but really what I talk about is you can use anywhere. So I believe, like, I can give you an example. I even though I am a fire sign in terms of the zodiac, I am a Aries sun, and I resonate with that a lot. Like as you can probably tell, I have a lot of energy. I have a lot of just like I'm not afraid to talk at all.
I got
and
it.
and so with that though, when I developed this quiz, I took it myself because I was like, even though I do like a lot of fire magic, I like work with a lot of candle magic and things just weren't quite clicking. And I was like, I wonder if that's because that's really not what the dominant element I'm really supposed to work with. So I took my own quiz, and I am actually more dominant in air, which is communication, which is like I have these grand ideas, like I'm a visionary thinker and all these things. And I was like, oh, this makes so much more sense when I really started to tap into that. And so doing this, really tapping into air magic, where I now work extensively with my breath work, with making sure that my breath is, I'm always taking deep breaths, especially in times of, stress and things like that, because life be lifing, as I like to say. And so really honing in on that has changed everything for me. And so that's why I love talking about this so much.
That's fascinating. When did you find that turn?
Well, it's interesting. I don't know if I necessarily have an exact date, but I have worked with. I'm a spirit guide channel. I'm also a psychic medium. So I kept those worlds very separate when I was in corporate, because I was like, I don't want anybody to know that when I look over there, I see a fluffy white cat. Like I don't want people to know that. Um, so I kept my worlds very, very separate. And when I got to the point in my corporate role where I was just really unhappy and I wasn't understanding why. And this was probably about maybe 5 years ago that it really started to be like, okay, there's an issue and I'm not quite understanding what is going on. So I started to work with a couple of years after that. I started to study with a witch who is local to me here in the Bay Area, in California. And I started to just realize, I was like, the elements, like this is, oh my gosh, this is huge. And I worked with the elements for years, but never this acutely, never this acutely. So
Mhm.
this was it was like that was the turning moment, is when I realized that I was unhappy with how things were going, because again, I was trying to box myself into this one size fits all career, and it just didn't quite work for me. It worked for other people and that's completely fine, but for me it just really did not work. And so that was really the turning point with that.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, and that
Yeah.
wonderful. And then so you were working with this mentor and help you understand more of the breadth
Yep. Yes.
intended of elements. Very cool. Uh,
Yes.
so when I'm looking at goals and when I'm trying to encourage people and help them with their accountability, what helps me is to do weekly goals,
Hmm.
even monthly or 12 weeks out. Those are
Yeah.
really fun to map out and give yourself extra space, and extra grace. Uh, so I'm wondering, does that shift your sense of where the elements are going to benefit you?
It can. Because in that 12-week span, you've got moon cycles, which is more water, right? So I work,
Mhm.
directly with water. I work with moon cycles and things like that. So it can affect that. When I talk about your dominant, and I was saying that with quotes in the air, when I talk about the dominant element, it's just the one that is more you, right? It's the one that makes you more uniquely you. But we have access to all of them, obviously, right? So we work with all the elements within ourselves every single day. If you want a really good example of that, go into your kitchen. You're working with all the elements, right? You're working
Yeah.
with water to wash your hands, and then the fire to heat your food, and then the air to cool off your food or whatever that is, and then earth, the vegetables or whatever you're working. So you're working with all of the elements at all times, but it can affect that again, because within that 12-week span, you could who knows what season you're in right now. We're in Leo season, which is very much like a fiery energy, like, right? A lot of action.
Mhm.
Whereas the opposite of that is more water. So maybe bringing in more water while you're working through, like, I need to take these action steps for this goal. Like if you have a launch, I want to take these action steps and I have all this. you may not necessarily have to work with just fire for that, right? Like really working with grounded energy to plan, which is earth energy, really stepping back and taking time to pause and working with that. Or as
Mhm.
working with water is more flow. How do you want your messaging to go out? How do you want to be? And how do you want your audience to feel as you're working with that? And how, and then also in air, right? How do you want to think? What vision do you have that wants to come forth? So working with the elements in everything you do is 100%. It's just understanding when to pull the different strings for which one is going to, be the one that's most dominant again, while you're working through.
I love that. That's so inspiring because you could even spend one day on each element to kind of
Yes.
continue your momentum. Because that can be a big thing for a lot of us is
Yes.
getting that start and then continuing. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. 100%. 100%.
fascinating. Yeah, and I love that combination because, yeah, I really do feel like we are all these different facets of these bigger things.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, we are. And the more that we understand that we have all of this within us, like let's take water, for example. We do not have like a water truck in space that gives us new water. You know what I'm saying? So the water that we have on here on this planet is it. So when you really think about it and take 50 steps back, the likelihood that you are drinking water that has at some point passed through, won't be really gross about it, but they're a dinosaur is highly likely. Because
Yep.
again, we're not, we don't just get new water. The molecules that we use are recycled, and that's what one of the things I love about the earth is that she's just the ultimate recycler. She's a recycling machine. So everything that we have here, we have everything that we need in order to tap into these energies, to tap into this at any time. But that example with water is one that I give a lot, and people are like, oh yeah, I didn't really think about that, because we don't, right? We kind of just go about our lives not realizing that the water treatment plants that we use are coming from the water that we have it's ancient, and we have access to all of this ancient power that has come before us, that is going to come after us. Like this is we're all one, and we're all like kind of one in this beautiful blue ball that's like floating in space. So it's amazing when you really think about that.
Yeah, and you've got me thinking about how slowly rivers from one trickle carved the Grand Canyon, for example.
Yep.
And just this concept of giving time is a
Yep.
big, big gift. Time is a huge gift.
Yes.
Um, our second big topic, and we'll surely shift back into goals because spellcasting, that helps
Yes.
so much with setting intention for goals, shifting things towards
Yes.
your goals. Do you have a ritual lately that has spoken to you specifically when it comes to feeling creative?
I love that. Yes, I do. And as a air dominant person, I work a lot also with earth. Because I have a tendency to get into my head a lot. And so again, the breath work has really helped. And then the spell that I use a lot is actually a bowl of dirt. And when I say that, people are like, you do what now? So I work very intentionally with a lot of herbs, and one of my favorite herbs to work with is bay leaf. So taking a full size bay leaf, and I write on it with a Sharpie. If you try to do it with a pen, you usually will crack right through it because they're pretty dry. So
Yeah.
just witchy tip right there. Um, so I will write on it what my goal is, and then bury it in a bowl of dirt for the duration of whatever project it is that I'm working on, whatever goal it is that I'm setting. If I'm working on a launch, I will say, if I want to set my intention, like I intend to have 50 people who are going to sign up for this, and put that into the bowl of dirt and then just leave that there for the duration. Doing just that into a bowl of dirt just really, if you allow it, it just grounds your energy into like, okay, this is possible. Now, that doesn't say that it's going to be just this easy peasy process, because we all have things that go on, you know, technology issues like we had today, like things just happen. But what that does by setting your intention is that you actually set your intention and you set your energy towards having a great outcome. And the more and more you do it, and the more you practice it, it's just amazing what things open up. So that's one of the rituals that I do pretty consistently is a bowl of dirt.
Mhm. I I love that. Bay leaf, yes, 100%. underestimated.
Yes.
I love that because it's not in your face too, which can, I feel, maybe have a air of the intimidating
Yes.
a little bit
Yes.
too. Now, where
Because
does
candle
it?
magic, yeah, like, and oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I have this
No,
habit.
you're
But
Aries.
candle magic, it's a thing. Like you have to make sure you have the right, environment. You have to make sure, you're making sure you're not burning down your house and all the thing. And sometimes you just really don't have time to do these things. So taking just a second, grabbing a bowl, getting some dirt, putting your intention in it, and just leaving it for the duration. It's like it's done. And it's amazing how quickly you can set the intention and set your energy to having a success and having a successful outcome.
And it's 3 basic ingredients.
Yep. That's it.
And
That's
so
it.
really, yeah, and those microbes of the earth are so good.
Exactly.
Where does your bowl of earth live, in your house or outside your house, or?
On my desk. I have an altar set up on my desk. And so when I'm doing my bowl of dirt, and I always ask the earth, before I gather it. I have a really big backyard, so I take it from different spaces. I also pay attention to the directions. Like I am very layered and complex when it comes to my magic.
That's
So it
great.
takes, yeah, it takes getting used to. Because when I first started this, I was like, I don't, this is way too much. But the more and more you do this, the more and more you realize that the directions and how you face which direction can really influence which magic you have. Like, right, if I'm gathering earth from the east side, from the east side of my house, that means, east, right? Sunrise, new things, new beginnings, right? So these intentions and these energies that you're bringing, that I bring into, like, yes, I gathered it from that side of the house. And so I want the new beginning. I want the new thing. I want that. So paying attention to the directions, paying attention to all that, it all plays a part, all of it.
All symbolic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's always your same bowl that's just for this?
So I use this, excuse me, the same bowl. I always cleanse my tools. I don't want to say always, that's a lie. As much as I possibly can.
No!
Because sometimes I have the best intention possible to cleanse everything during a full moon, which is a great time to release, right? Release energies during a full moon. Sometimes I'm not home, or sometimes like things have gone on, or I fall asleep, like, you know what I mean, things happen. But I do make a real concerted effort to cleanse my tools, leave them outside, let the air is great for doing
Yes.
that. Just leave them outside just for a little while. It's really easy to do. Like even my tarot cards, I'm a tarot card reader. And so I'll take my deck and I'll just set them outside on the table outside and just leave them and just let them
Nice.
cleanse.
Nice! Perfect segue, but you knew we were gonna talk about tarot too. The 4 different tarot suits also correlate with the 4 elements.
Yes.
Some readers associate the swords with air, like I do,
Mhm.
but some flip it with the wands, because I can see the wands being air. But okay, so your swords are air? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So there's work we can intentionally do with tarot cards too, and
Mhm.
you've been doing some really cool notes about my my Tarot of the Fool's Journey, I think it's
Yes.
called. You're on
My
like
fool's
day
journey.
16 or something. You're cruising through it. Uh, but anything you want to say about working in association with the elements and tarot?
I love that you brought this up. And I also was thinking about this before this live when I woke up extremely early and was just kind of thinking about this with excitement, because one of the things that you talk a lot about is poetry. And I realized that, setting intentions with the tarot that I do, because I use tarot in every single aspect of my business, just every single aspect. Before I do a launch, before I do anything, I'm like, what's the energy around this? Like, how am I feeling?
Wow.
How am I, like, what is this going to look like? I've even for my clients will do tarot for like, I have a client who's going to be like, I have 15 different social platforms and I need to figure out which ones are really the right ones. And so we look
Yeah.
at the energy for each. Now, tarot is very personal, and it's how you want to use the energies. I agree with you that swords is more air and it's more the mind. So that's how I use it. So again, tarot, when I use it in every single aspect of my business. And I love being able to set my intentions with that energy. And it's also very poetic when I do that. I was thinking about that today. I was like, when I set intention to everything, it almost is like telling myself a poem, telling myself, because I believe poetry is just so personal, and it invokes a lot of feeling. And so doing these things, again, it takes practice, right? Like, you can do it once or twice and be like, okay, that was cool. But the more and more you do this, the more and more you open yourself up to the poetry in it, to the beauty in it, to all of that. And I maybe deviate a little bit. I hope that answers the question. But yes, this is how I use tarot and why I think it's just so essential, and how it corresponds to the elements, because I'm very much like that, where I'm like, oh, there's a lot of fire in this. Okay, maybe I need to calm it down. If I get a lot of wands, like maybe just calm it down a little bit. Or if I get a lot of swords, I'm like, whoa, I'm in my mind, way in my mind. And so, just understanding that's where I use the earth energy, right? To really ground myself out. So the tarot can really tell you how you're feeling energetically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that really helpful when I'm reading for clients too, is I will stop and look and say, look, oh, you have all these different elements. We love to see that.
Yes.
In a tea leaf reading, we love to see. There was one that I kind of squealed when I looked in the cup, because I could see there were symbols all around the cup, as
Oh, wow.
opposed to just like in one or two spots. It's like, good news. It's like a clean bill of health almost.
Right. And I love that. I've been watching your tea leaf readings because that fascinates me. And so
Oh,
I've been watching them, just going, that is just so cool. Like, it's cool to be able to interpret and see the symbols within that. So I think that's an amazing practice. That's amazing.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I certainly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
As
No,
always,
you're really good at it. You explain it in such detail that is incredible. Like, you're like, you have the little, like, you're like, and look at this. And I'm like, oh my God. Where I would just see like a blob of tea leaves, you're like, no, look at the symbol in this, and I'm like, oh, holy shit! Like, it's cool. I love it.
it, like you said, it takes practice.
Mhm.
Like you said about the tarot as as art, however you use it.
Yes.
To set an intention to help you picture what you want. There's a book by Mary Kay Greer that really is good. I think it's called 21 Ways into the Tarot. That's a really
Yes.
good, gives great examples of purposely selecting cards that represent what you want. Um, they're really good gateways. Yeah.
I do that. I do a lot of altar work. I set up altars, and so when I want to bring in blessings, I will grab all the aces, and I will put them on an altar, and I will, kind of put them around and then put a candle in the middle and just have that as my altar. And I love, love, love using tarot cards. I will go through them all the time and say, this is the energy I want to bring in, especially like queens, as a woman in business. I bring in a lot of the queens. Sometimes I've even done altars with just that. I really want to bring in, have my mindset right, and have my, and the Queen of Wands, which is one of my favorites, really.
Yeah.
So I do that all the time. And I love that you do that as well. That is awesome. I love that you brought that up. That's so cool.
It was a little too powerful one time. My roommate asked me to do it for them to pick the cards, and I ended up with the new love interest. So
Oh,
you should have picked the tarot cards yourself. What can I say?
I get it. I totally get it. But yes, it's one of the most powerful ways that I know, because the symbolism, when it activates those parts in you, that when you look at a certain tarot card, like, it just activates that part, like, yes, this is what I want. And that is where the energy just expands from there. So
Mhm.
it's an incredible tool. Tarot, I just finding that was just life-saving. I've been doing tarot now for, oh my gosh, for forever, but professionally
Yeah,
for about 4 years. So it's an amazing
nice,
tool.
nice. Yeah, when was your first run-in with tarot?
So I was working as an HR manager in here in the Bay Area, and I was taking it was the most stressful job ever. I was 30 restaurants and 6 hotels, and it was like the small team. Yes, it was like over 1,000 employees that we were responsible for, and it was only like 3 of us on the team. It was insane. And I used to take walks just to calm myself down. And I happened to go into this little hole in the wall bookstore, and they had tarot decks. And I was like, I've seen tarot, right? You know what I'm saying? I've seen it. I've actually had a reading, like this is really cool. And I remember just grabbing a deck, and it was called the Triple Goddess Tarot deck. And I was like, I have no idea what this is, but let's just see. And I fell in love with it. I just started to fall in love with the pictures. I fell in love with the imagery. I fell in love with the messaging behind the imagery. And then I started to go ham, and I did research and went down rabbit holes, and just there's so much, and just realizing how far back tarot goes is
Mm-hmm.
incredible, because I truly believe that a lot of the collective energy that we experience, like with tarot, we pick up on that, right? It's a way to connect with the women who did this before, right? Who were called fortune
Love
tellers.
that.
And it's just a way to connect with with the witches and women who have just done this for generations upon generations.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk about energetics and magic and all that, I'm not just talking about like, hey, I just made this up, but no, 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 no. This is my little corner of where I expand that from my perspective,
Yes.
based on what everybody else has done before me. And it's a way of honoring that.
I so love that you said that, because in my early days of professionally reading tarot cards and tea leaf, I would stumble into arguing, positioning myself so that it was almost like,
Mhm.
no, no, this is for entertainment purposes only, and I really believe it works because of the collective
Yep.
unconscious, subconscious, and it's psychological, and I very much still believe those are aspects of it, but they're more like kind of over here and maybe less than a 20% of what it was. Whereas before it was like that was my umbrella and my shield and my permission to do it. And it's just been profound over the years, just seeing time and time again uncanny things happening. Um,
Yes.
and I love the
Yes.
honoring of those that came before us, as I believe in that so much.
It's
Yeah.
everything that we have, that we touch, like everything that you see in front of you or around you was an idea. It was somebody's idea, right? There's a billion tables that are sold, but somebody had to make the first one. You know what I'm saying? Somebody had to make the first one way back. So again, everything we have access to all of this energy and everything that we see, touch, everything that we have, because we are here again on this floating blue planet where there's no, like, we don't have like a little pickup planet that comes and gives us extra that's just not what happens. Like everything that we have is it, and that means it's recycled, and what you do with that, it's very personal, it's very up to you. But when you start to really understand that, like, whole worlds begin to open up, because you realize
Mhm.
that you're part of something so much bigger, so much
Mhm.
bigger.
A responsibility that's gone back so many generations.
Oh
Woo!
my gosh. Oh my, I know it gives you chills, right? Because when you think about that,
Right?
you're like, wow. And it also, for me, it's very comforting where I'm just like, okay, I'm really this.
Yeah.
It's really okay what I go through in my life, what is going on, like even the challenges, because life has not been just like, oh hey, everything is just fine the entire, no, I
No.
have been through it. But when you really understand that so has everybody else before us, so has everybody else before us who made these things possible to have electricity, whatever that is, it's amazing, and it's incredible to be like, I am part of that, and
Mhm.
honored to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. How has working with the elements affected your creative life in the last few years? If you look at it through a wider scope, and I hope you'll talk a little bit about that beautiful article you wrote about kitchen rituals,
Oh yes.
but you don't have to. You
So
can answer
I now I know, right? Kitchen is hands down, in my opinion, the best place to go if you really want to. Like, I need to connect back with my magic. I need to connect back with who the f I am. Go into the kitchen and make something. I don't care if it's just toast, because the act of doing each thing can be so deliberate and can be its own ritual and own intention and own spell. It's really incredible when you think about what goes into bread. Right? It's not just like you go to the store, you buy a loaf of bread. Great. What went into that? You have wheat, which is abundance. You have sugar in some cases, which, right, is bringing sweetness into your life. So when you think about the ingredients and what has gone into our food alone, it's insane how much you can really connect with the energies of that thing. So, like, one of the things that I teach is kitchen magic, and I just had a class about that. It was so incredible, and everybody at the end was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. Like, one woman was like, I was gonna make fried okra and was just like gonna do it. She's like, now I'm putting an intention around this, of how it can help my husband, heal because he's trying to eat better and things like that. So, and again, like working with the elements, working with the like the vegetables and everything like that, that's earth energy. Working with the fire to heat up your food, that's fire energy. Washing your hands, you can do a ritual beforehand. Everything that passes through these hands, everything that I cut is meant for my highest good and my family's highest good. Something simple like that. Just while you're washing your hands, if you want to protect, take a dash of salt, you don't need a ton, and wash your hands with the salt. And doesn't replace soap. Okay, I want to be very clear. But doing that can set a protective barrier, and salt is known in witchcraft and in spell casting for protection and for shielding. So if you really are like feeling a little bit vulnerable as you're putting salt on your food, like everything that I eat, I'm protected within, I'm protected without. Exactly, that old school throwing this, that's the protected against evil spirits and things like that. That's it. This again, honoring who we were and these spells of how who that came before. It's so incredible. And this has affected my creativity in terms of, I can actually talk about this stuff without it being like that was huge for me to know that I started to talk about this stuff. When I started stuff, like I was like, well, let's just see what happens. And people were like, yeah, I do this thing. I, do a ritual with eggs. Eggs is a great one for new beginnings, right? When you think of the egg, right? New beginnings. So holding the egg before you crack it. I set the intention for this new beginning. Yeah, blowing on it, right? Whatever that is, you can bring elements into everything that you do. And then cooking, again, you don't have to be this great cook. If you burn toast, that's totally fine. Like you don't have to be this amazing cook. But I do it a lot. I'm a sauce freak. I love making sauces. And I
Woo!
love putting herbs and everything in my sauces. Oh my gosh, my family was always like, here she goes. I'm hella extra in the kitchen when it comes to, and every single herb has a meaning, has a correspondence to it, right?
Yes.
Rosemary, I'll use it as an example, then I'll be quiet, I promise. Rosemary is a perfect one for the mind. And so that's swords energy. That's what I mean? That's the air energy. Like back in the day, ancient Greece, they used to weave rosemary into their hair when they took a test to help with the mind and focus. And there's actual scientific studies, because I'm a huge proponent of, look, I don't want to just say something that's kind of BS and sell that as something. I always like to make sure, that's the HR in me. I always like to make sure of the how and the why. But
That's
scientists
part of
scientists have studied rosemary. There are compounds that help with memory. So using rosemary as the herb or the scent or whatever you use, essential oils, whatever that is, while you're working, while you're creating, is huge, because and setting that intention with the plant to help you with that. That's another way to just tap into the elements each time.
Yeah. Have you been lucky enough to have some of your own herbs that you grow?
So I am, interestingly enough, as much as I am love working with plants, I do not have a green thumb. I kill cactus. I don't know how. It's
Oh,
just, and it's something that I'm working on. So I have a money tree that his name is Marvin, and I'm working on this with him
great.
because I have this grand view in my head of me having like an entire herb garden. Like I have things that I study, and I study this, and I have friends who are like, look, we're just going to one day just come over and we're just going to make sure this happens for you, because
Mhm,
it's one of those things for me. I'm like, it's the one thing that eludes me is keeping things alive.
mhm. It's very different. I live in the Garden State, and it's very different when you have this wonderful rainfall, and you don't have to do it. You can be lazy about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a matter of preparing the soil for it and knowing a few other things. And every year you just get better, just like with poetry or any other endeavor.
Yes.
Absolutely. So our last question. Da, da,
Yeah.
da, da. Do you have ideas for creative writing or poetry that we haven't covered yet?
That we haven't covered. I don't think that it's something we haven't covered, but I think it's such a beautiful marriage, if you will, of what you do, the poetry, and looking at, and the poetry within, like some of the poems that you've done and some of the writings you've done are just really, I love the way that they make me feel. And so when you talk about spell casting, it's the same thing. How does it make you feel? How does it, and that's why I think that the marriage of spell casting and poetry is just, it's like this, because it is. It's almost like telling yourself a poem. And I never considered myself a poet actually until I started to really pay attention to what you do. And I was like, oh, so these things that I write, like these intentions and everything, like it's my own form of poetry to myself because it
Yes.
is extremely personal. And I'm so glad that we came on this because I was like, when it hit, I was like, oh, that makes sense. So making sure that also writing, I don't know how much I tell my clients this a lot and they get really annoyed at me, is actually writing your poetry or your intentions and actually doing that because writing is our oldest form of communication. That,
Mhm.
my friends, is 1,000% the quickest way to really be back in touch with the people who come before us is writing. So, and I'm not talking about just doing it on the computer because obviously we're on a computer all the time and everything that I do, but I make a conscious choice to really write because that really starts to get you back in touch with who you are within.
Mhm.
So, if anything, write your poetry, write your intentions. Doesn't have to be very long. So, I love that's why I loved this conversation today because I was like, yeah, there's a really beautiful marriage there that I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be very long. Like, you're a fire sign, so it can be quick and a little quick little torch of a moment. Yeah, it can just be a couplet, just
Yeah.
2 lines. Even 1 line
Yes.
can be poetic. And, as far as haiku go, that is a Japanese form, and, English and Japanese don't have the same kind of syllabic rules. So the way it translates for me is always like a short line, long line, short line. And 4 syllables, 8
Mm.
syllables, 4 is actually more at home in the language of English. So just to throw that in there too.
See, and I love that because also, if you look at from it energetically, from a magical sense, 4 and 8, that is stability, right? 4 is you think of a table with 4 legs, that's stability. So I love that. And yes, I agree with you because sometimes I'll read a haiku and I'm like, that doesn't sound the same in English.
Yeah.
Like that isn't the same meaning. But I I adore everything to do with words because I believe that words is just the best way that we can communicate what we want to the universe, to each other, to ourselves. And so I love what you're doing because I believe that more people need to understand that the power of the words within and the power of the words that you say out, the power of the words that you write, everything like that, because there's power within each and every single one of them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the little fluffy white cat that you said you thought you saw. Maybe there's a poem in there too.
That was I mean, I was just sitting with a friend and I was like, I was seeing this cat and I was like, why am I seeing a fluffy white cat? And I was like, and there's something about Fluffy I don't understand. And then the cat kept turning its backside to me and I was like, uh, I don't understand what's happening. And I finally just told my friend, look, this is what I'm seeing. I don't understand, but here. And she started to laugh and she said, yeah, I had a fluffy white cat whose name was Princess Fluffy Butt. That's why she kept turning around. And I was
Oh,
like, oh,
all right.
so I think I will write a poem about that because it was just one of those moments where I was like, okay, what I see is real. Got it. Because it was one of those profound moments for me where I was just like, look, don't discount what you see, Aisha. It's really fine. It's really okay.
Mhm.
Go with your
Mhm.
gut, say what you see. It's all good.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you for being here, saying your piece, what you see, what the journey has been like for yourself. It's been a wonderful time with you. And
Seriously.
we're both tarot card readers. I also have the tea leaf reading. So if you want to work with either of us, be sure again that you are subscribed to us and hit us up in the DMs. We're awful friendly. And we love a good little chat. Uh, let's see, anything else, Aisha, that you have to share with the class?
No, I loved everybody. Thank you so much for just listening, for just, taking the time to learn, maybe to expand your mind a little bit more. If you want to take my free quiz, it's free to learn about your dominant elements, also in my bio. That's it. But other than that, I just appreciate everybody and I love coming on here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We will see you guys again, and please create your refuge. I might have
Yes.
trouble stopping this thing because I'm on my phone. Yeah, maybe I'll just turn off my phone.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. We love you. Mwah.